This is an HP laptop that I have been given to potentially fix, give away, whatever kind of can be done with this. It's got an Intel Core i3, Beats audio. On the side we've got an optical drive, USB and headphone socket, as well as Kensington lock. And then on the other side we've got two USB, SD, HDMI, network and power. And underneath we've got a removable battery at the bottom and HP Protect marked. Lots of screws if you want to get inside of this laptop. So it's also come with the power cable, so that's really good. It's got one of those little connectors. It's a 45-watt power supply. I'm kind of looking forward to the day when everything takes USB-C for power. But also not, in a way, because if it's been implemented where the USB socket is on the board and that breaks, then it is a pain to try and fix. So let's see if this switches on. We've got battery alert. Storage capacity of the battery is very low. It may need replacing. See if we can go into the BIOS and see what we've got. HP PC hardware diagnostics, memory test, hard drive check. I actually just want to go into the BIOS and see what this is. Oh, it's booting into Windows. Okay, I'm in the BIOS. We've got an i3 4030U CPU at 1.9 gigahertz. We've got 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it says the factory installed operating system is Windows 8.1, but I'm pretty sure that was booting into Windows 10. And let's have a look if we can see what the SATA drive is. So it's a Kingston, is that 480? That's a generous SSD drive. I've changed the boot order so that it should boot from the USB first. I've given the screen a little bit of a clean and it's booting from the USB, and I'm going to see what we've got and see how quickly we can install Windows 11. So it's about 20 past 8. So this is the disk setup. We do have a 446 gigabyte partition. So it does have a large SSD drive in there. Seems a little bit overkill. I would normally put a large SSD like this in something else. But we may as well carry on with this and put Windows 11 on here. So how long did that take? About 20 minutes, 15 minutes, between 15 and 20 minutes to get to this stage. And I could have used a Linux boot drive, but I wanted to do two things. I wanted to wipe the drive, and I wanted to put an operating system on here so that I can then test the laptop, check, the keyboard works, Wi-Fi works, speakers work, USB ports work, etc., etc. Okay, so about 20 minutes in total. We're at the Windows 11 desktop. Let's just open Task Manager, have a little look around, and I need to install something that will tell me the CPU temperatures. Core temp is good for that. And this is a dual core processor with 4 threads. I'm guessing it is a low power processor with the U on the end. And we've got 8 gigabytes of DDR3. And we've got our 480 gig Kingston SSD drive. I'm just running CPU Z here. The fan is spinning correctly, so that is a good thing. But it is quite low power. If I leave this stress test running, core temp says it's using about 8.9 watts for the processor, and the TDP is 15 watts. And I'll just leave this running to see what sort of temperatures we get from this system. It also says the battery is charging, so that's interesting. I've just run a battery report. I'm not sure if you can see that. Which is open a command prompt, type in power CFG space / battery report, and this is what it's come back with. So designed capacity of the battery is 8051, full charge capacity 8051. So it thinks the battery is okay, or it's not got any information from it. So yeah, I'll see what happens if we charge it and see if it's actually any good or not. I've just tested the keyboard. All the keys seem to work. This F3 key is a little bit wonky compared to the others, but it still works. The trackpad is okay. You kind of have to click quite purposefully in the corner to right click. But I can't detect any Wi-Fi networks. So I'm looking in Device Manager. I need to install drivers. And perhaps we've got Wi-Fi here, network adapter. So we should be seeing some Wi-Fi connections, but maybe the Wi-Fi antenna's been disconnected. So I'll need to have a look inside to see what's going on. Temperatures got up to 58 degrees C, but that's certainly reasonable. This is still running and looking okay so far, but got to look at the Wi-Fi and then I'll carry on checking for any other issues. Okay, let's look inside. I'm not looking forward to undoing all of those screws, but we need to check out the Wi-Fi adapter, see what's going on there. I've given this a bit of a clean. I should have done it before and then after. Okay, that's cleaner again, but yeah, it's white, so it's going to be difficult to keep perfectly clean. It looks like we've got screws under these little feet as well. So there's 13 screws in total. This is a random dot with nothing underneath. This is a random squishy thing, also with nothing underneath. And there's doesn't appear to be any down here, but there are some hiding under these, which would normally be feet. There's a potential that when I take the optical drive out. There'll be some under there. Yep, we've got, should be 3 under here, but there's only 1 left. And these are normally really tiny little screws, so if you've been using a larger screwdriver for these, it won't fit that one. There's 1 screw hiding here that I didn't spot earlier. And it looks like there aren't any screws underneath these front feet. Okay, there's a hidden screw here under these little corner flaps, corner covers. They did feel a little loose, so I guess they're designed to come off relatively easy. This is quite loose on this side. The majority of these screws are the same size, so that's quite helpful. Assuming whoever's put this back together previously has put them all in the right place and used the right screws, but these ones are all the same size, and there's just a few that are different. These ones here, and then these here. And this system mostly lifts up from this side, so we should be able to get this out fairly easily now that I've got all the screws. So I've used this to prise it up, and then there's the trackpad, which is here, quite easy to disconnect, and then the keyboard. And at the back we've got the power button, again a ribbon cable, quite easy to take up, and that's the keyboard. Interesting sort of area where it's going to be trying to suck air from under the keyboard. Seems a bit of an odd design, but we've got the SSD drive, we've got the fan, processor under here, so everything is on the other side of this board, which is unfortunate because we've got more cables to disconnect, more things to unscrew, and doesn't look too bad, but I'm looking at this bit. This looks a little bit odd up here for the Wi-Fi card, so let's have a look at that. So there's one Wi-Fi cable here, and it sort of twists underneath itself and then goes along here and then up into the frame of the screen. So I'm not sure why this is not really working or not detecting any Wi-Fi connection. I don't think we need to replace the thermal paste. I'm just trying to work out how many screws there would be in order to take this apart. There's not that many. We may as well have a look at the other side of the system. So there's only 4 screws if you include the Wi-Fi connection. Give that a little clean of the contacts. Put that to one side. I've unplugged these, and we've got the screen connection, and we've got speaker connections as well. It's the cables that are more of an issue than the screws really, but we can lift this up and we can actually see what's going on. So there's 2 RAM slots, and you must replack with HP spare. 2 RAM slots. It's got an 8GB DDR3 stick there, quite fluffy here. A little battery, and not much going on. you know, what are all these chips that aren't on here? There's so few sort of power things going on. There's all sorts of stuff not here. Similarly, there's all sorts of stuff not here. So it's really quite simple in terms of one processor, which has built-in graphics, a fan, you know, not much going on with this system. You can upgrade the memory. That's quite nice to see. Just going to give it a brush to get rid of the dust. Since we've come this far, I am going to replace the thermal paste. I may as well. I don't know how long the thermal paste has been there. It might be fine, but I may as well, you know, replace it. This moves this way and you can see there's more dust in here that needs cleaning out. So even if we've just cleaned some more dust out, that's still gonna give this a little bit extra life. Can flip this over and it's still damp in the middle, but it's kind of setting around and still looks like a kind of original application of thermal paste. So let's clean that up and replace that. That's like a little mirror. That should do the job. That's what I'm using. Trying to put this back where it goes. With a little squeeze. Can check it. Yeah, that looks great. And then put the screws in. That's back together, and I just need to put it back where it all goes. So I've got the screws back in. Hopefully I've got them in the right place. Need to connect these cables. Some of these have these little tabs that stick out so that they slot in and stay in place. Some of them do not, like this one. And they've got the little line that lines up with the thing. It does seem very plasticky, but the hinges seem to be holding up fairly well so far. And it has clicked relatively nicely back into place. Hopefully I've plugged everything in. Just gave it another quick clean. Let's connect the power and check it still works and see if the Wi-Fi is going to work. We are back in Windows 11. I've got CPU-Z running a stress test, got core temp telling me the temperatures. We have no Wi-Fi, so I don't know what is happening with the Wi-Fi card, whether it's a driver issue with Windows 11 or something else is happening. But I'm going to plug a Wi-Fi adapter in so that I can get all of the drivers updated and see if that helps. If not, then this could just be a laptop that needs a Wi-Fi adapter with it at all times. I don't think it's really that much of a big deal, you know. I don't really have spare Wi-Fi cards to plug in, and those little Wi-Fi dongles are quite cheap, the smaller ones, and if you want better signal then you get a bigger one and it gives you a better signal, and often that can be better than the Wi-Fi signal in the laptop, or someone could use a network cable. I've got this little Wi-Fi adapter right here. I've connected to the internet and I should be able to update all of these drivers using Windows Update. It's probably not the most optimum. You can probably get better drivers directly from manufacturers, but for me this is just quick, simple, and gets it up and running. So that's the main thing for me, so I can carry on testing this laptop. Does seem to be running fine apart from the Wi-Fi, and I think our temperatures have come down a little bit with the fresh thermal paste. Maximum is now 52 degrees C. So I'll just carry on updating all of these drivers and then carry on testing this and see if there's any other problems that I can spot. But overall, I think this is going to do the job. It's a working laptop. The screen is quite nice. It's quite large. It's quite bright. And I just need to put all of the screws back in. And then we're back with a sort of cleaner, nicer laptop that's got a fresh install of Windows and should be good enough to give away to someone who's in need of a laptop. And it also came with the power adapter, which is always helpful. So if you've got this far in the video, thank you for watching. Thanks for sharing, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. And see you in another video. Bye.